wild day out there.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for coming today. Thank you, Mr. Trump, for listening to us today. This is a really amazing opportunity, not just for you, but for all of us to have this conversation. My name is Representative Joe Hannon, and I'm a retired doctor. I'm in the state legislature in New Hampshire, but I'm also someone who has been in long-term recovery since the age of 19. So I had 25 years not using mind-altering substances. The important thing that some people need to know is we hear a lot of horror stories about the drug crisis, and we hear about a lot of the negative side, and it's absolutely something that people need to hear, and we're going to hear some of that today. But I think one thing that's important, and we're going to have a lot of that in this room, are success stories and things that are working, and people that are successes. Granted, I took a step back. I'm a legislator now, not a doctor, but still, people have the opportunity to get better, and I think we're going to see that in this room today. And we have an amazing, it's actually a bipartisan group from all areas of the recovery community and people dealing with this crisis. We unfortunately had several law enforcement officers that had to leave because they have to keep doing their job. And we do have people from the recovery community, policy people, parents who've lost loved ones, family members who've lost loved ones, medical communities, religious faith groups, and I think it's a good opportunity. I'd like to go around the room after Mr. Trump and Congressman Guinta speak to us, and then we'll have everybody say something that they'd like to say, and we'll go from there. All right, thank you very much. Mr. Trump, I really can't thank you enough. I know that you've done some amazing things in your career, and we're hoping you do even more in the future. I remember hearing you speak about the ice skating rink in New York City a couple of years ago, and you did it under budget, ahead of schedule, but I know you didn't put the ice in yourself. You actually listened to the experts and you made it happen. And because of that, I'm very hopeful that, I'm thrilled that you're here and doing that today. And hopefully we'll come in ahead of schedule and under cost. So, Mr. Trump, everybody.
As I just said outside, New Hampshire is very special to me, and this is probably more than any place else is where I learned about the unbelievable problem we have with drugs in the United States. And I think it was because it's such a contrast when I look at the beautiful trees and streams and even the beautiful little winding roads. Everything's so beautiful, and then I'll meet with friends, people who have really become friends. I've developed great friendships up here, and I've had some before, but now I have a lot. And I've listened to them talk about the drug problem is their number one problem. And I imagine everybody here agrees with that. But the number one, it doesn't seem to go with the trees and the winding roads. It just doesn't seem to be the place. And then I got to know many of your top police people here. They're incredible people. Your fire people are incredible people. I mean, they're not putting out fires. The fires they're putting out are the fires that we hate to talk about. And I really wanted to be here with you. This turned out to be a very complex day because of the news that just happened, which is extremely big news. But I will tell you, there's just nothing more important than solving the tremendous drug problem where we have drugs pouring into this country. And I always say poisoning our youth, but poisoning everybody. Somehow our youth, we have to protect. They need even more protection. But we have many friends up here, and you have many friends that are far, far from you, and they've been poisoned also. And I said to the people of New Hampshire, number one, if I win the primary, which I did, and if I win the presidency, and I was going to spend so much time, effort, money on stopping the inflow of drugs, and also, because the numbers are so massive, helping the people that are so badly addicted. And there are drugs now that they can use that they think are very good for helping in getting rid of the addiction. They can't get them approved by the FDA. They can't get them approved. And there are thousands of drugs that are stuck on the line. I mean, they have drugs that they use for people with terminal cancer and other problems where it's literally terminal. But they don't want to approve them because they may be dangerous. And they may be dangerous. But these are people where they have a terminal illness where they'll be alive for another 4 months, 2 months, 3 months, or something. And we have to speed up the process. We have to speed up the process. In the case of drugs, I hear there's some things out there that they can really do that possibly, probably can help. We have to at least speed up the process, so I very much want to do that. But we're gonna work on trying to help the people that are so seriously addicted, and we're going to stop the drugs, because the best way to get rid of the addiction is not to have the product, and that's before you start. You know, it's sort of strange. I don't drink for whatever, my brother taught me a long time ago, don't drink. And he'd always say, don't drink. And he used to say no cigarettes too, which is good. But he always said, don't drink, don't drink. And he put it to me, always would say it. And I never drank because of that. I mean, I never drank. And I see people drinking, I see people with a problem in drinking. And it's very interesting. I mean, it's a tremendous problem, but it's something you just don't test yourself if you don't drink. I never drank, so I never understood the problem. Same thing with smoking to a lesser extent, but if you don't smoke, when I see people smoking cigarettes, they can't stop. I say, oh, it's easy, you just don't smoke, right? But it's not easy, because I know very strong people that cannot stop. And if we can stop the youth from taking drugs, they won't even understand what the big deal is. There's just, it's the easiest solution, it's the best solution, least expensive solution, which is also the most unimportant thing, but it's the least expensive solution. So I just want to let the people of New Hampshire know that I'm with you 1,000%. You really taught me a lot. And it's special to me because, you know, as I said, this was my first victory. This is a big victory, and we won by a lot. Remember, I wasn't really expected to win New Hampshire, remember?
I remember.
And I wasn't expected to win. You know that better than anybody. And the victory was, not only was it like a win, but it was a landslide. And so I just feel a very special kinship to New Hampshire. So I just want to thank everybody for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. My congressman, Congressman Guinta, started the bipartisan